You've had a journey from Wipro to Myntra to now, a GP for a fund. So think about the Panjan in Wipro, the Panjan in Myntra, and the Panjan now in Fireside Ventures. What has stayed consistent and what has changed for you as a finance professional? Can you share?
I have many different examples to share this, and but I would start by saying nothing was planned. I think one thing which is consistent is that when I joined Wipro was a startup IT services. When I joined Flipkart, it was a very unknown entity. When I joined VC, it was also immature. So at all stages, my parents were always worried, saying this is a guy who has not done well. And that's a good benchmark for me to say that if your parents are not able to understand what you're doing, then maybe you're futuristic, possibly, right? So that is one thing which is considered. I don't think my father still knows what exactly I do. And Wipro, that time it was a very huge disappointment, saying, you're not got in ONGC or ITC or Unilever, and, if not anything, at least get PwC, KPMG. Wipro is like really the bottom of the rank choice. Actually, it was partly IT, and I think the only savior was that I think that year when I joined Wipro 2002, I think Mr. Premji became the richest man or something for a few days because of the stock prices. So that was the only potential savior to say, I don't know what it is, but it's something. Yeah, but I think the light side apart, I think. I would say it's a very lucky journey. When I joined Wipro, I was very lucky to work with outstanding finance leaders, including Raghav. I had the opportunity to work with Raghav very closely. And it was a very entrepreneurial business-first finance team led by, Mr. Senapati, who was the CFO at that time. But the history of finance in Wipro was actually a lot influenced by GE also, I'm assuming, a lot of ex-GE leaders in Wipro. And there was, and correct me if I'm not wrong, Raghav, in GE, there's a kind of a process where after a certain leadership, you're very agnostic of the function, right? So the CFO can be from an HR background, or HR head can be from a sales background. So I think, if not in that sense, but Wipro had that culture saying, everybody is a leader, everybody is a business leader, then doesn't matter whether you are in finance or HR or sales or marketing and so on and so forth. So I think that view was quite early, and that taught us really to go business first and not function first. I think that was the DNA of Wipro was. And somewhere in the journey, I figured out that I'm not really a strong finance guy, I think, and I remember a lot of the feedback as to get is that you're a smart guy, which means that you are not really a technically smart guy.
It's a nice way to put it.
So
you don't know your accounting standards.
Right. So and Wipro used to do very complex transactions, and we had like people I've interacted, when I look at them like A. Satish or P.V. Srinivasan, and he said, man, they're like so deep experts, and I was nowhere close to that. So I quickly figured out that's not really, I'm not going to succeed in my career by remaining a finance guy. And Wipro was a good learning ground, and I had an opportunity to work with TK, who was actually an ex-finance guy. He was then the CEO, and so I actually moved into a business role in Wipro when digital was created, and that was really the journey outside of finance. Then I joined Flipkart, which was a very weird move, because that was a year and when, if you read any newspaper in 2015, 2016, you'll hear how many ED raids have happened on Sachin and Bini, how e-commerce is actually a bogus business model, and this is some guys doing some fraud. And
this is 2016?
2015, 2016, I think.
You don't know what happened in 2012 when I was there.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll talk about this.
Right, that's a separate
discussion for that.
Correct. So that was, again, while Flipkart was not really a startup, it was already, Myntra, of course, was acquired by Flipkart at that point of time. High growth, but while it was a finance role, but it was actually more of a business role. So that was a interesting learning from seeing a high growth stage. And of course, actually Satya, myself, and like 4-5 other folks, we started IPV during that period when we were at those days. And that was really the, lead to investing. I met Kaval, who started Fireside Ventures in 2017, roundabout when we were doing IPV, and the Walmart deal has just got finalized. So it was pure luck. So I would say what has remained consistent is that is that still a lot of people don't know what exactly I do. But more importantly, I think finding out that I was not what I'm not strong at and moving out at the right time. So I would have been a terrible CFO if I would have stuck on.